You're sitting at your kitchen table late at night. Laptop open. Pay stub glowing on the screen. $150,000. It looks like success. It sounds like success. It's the number people congratulate you for. The number you chased for years. But then your eyes move down. Federal tax withheld. State tax withheld. Social Security. Medicare. Line after line. Quietly subtracting pieces of your life. You scroll further. Year-to-date totals. You did everything right. Showed up early. Stayed late. Said yes when you wanted to say no. And somehow, despite earning $150,000, it doesn't feel like $150,000. You hesitate before buying things you can technically afford. You think twice before taking time off. You feel successful on paper, but constrained in reality. And then, one day, you meet someone retired. Calm. Unhurried. Living well. And they mention, casually, they're living on about $150,000 a year. Same number, but completely different life. Because what almost nobody tells you is that not all $150,000 incomes are the same. Not even close. Hey, I'm Brian. I spend way too much time thinking about how money actually works in the real world, not just how it looks on paper. And I need to tell you something that most people don't realize until it's too late. $150,000 earned from a job and $150,000 received in retirement are two completely different realities. Not slightly different, not marginally different, fundamentally different. One gets taxed aggressively, automatically, with almost no flexibility. The other can be structured, optimized, and controlled in ways that dramatically increase how much you actually keep. The shocking part isn't how much retirees earn. It's how much they're allowed to keep. And once you understand why, you stop thinking about income as just a number and start thinking about it as something far more important. Structure. Most people assume income is income. That $150,000 is just $150,000, no matter where it comes from. Job, retirement, investments. It all sounds interchangeable. It isn't, because income doesn't just arrive. It travels through a structure first, and that structure determines how much survives the journey. Imagine pouring water through two different pipes. One pipe is wide, smooth, and efficient. Most of the water flows through. The other pipe is full of holes, bends, and leaks. By the time the water reaches the end, half of it is gone. Same starting point, completely different outcome. That's exactly what's happening with your income. When you earn money through a job, the tax system treats it one way. It taxes it first, automatically, with no negotiation. But when money is structured through retirement accounts, investments, and diversified tax treatment, the system treats it entirely differently. And this misunderstanding costs people enormous amounts over their lifetime. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sometimes more. Because they focus on increasing the size of the number, instead of increasing how much of the number they actually keep. And nowhere is this more visible than when you break down what really happens to $150,000 earned from a job. Let's say you and your spouse earn a combined $150,000 from your jobs. On paper, that sounds solid, comfortable, secure. But the moment that income hits the system, it starts shrinking. First comes federal income tax. Roughly $22,000 disappears there alone, gone before you ever see it. Then state taxes. Depending on where you live, places like California or New York take another $8,500. You're now down over $30,000. And you're not even halfway through the deductions. Next comes Social Security tax. That's 6.2% of your income, up to the limit. On $150,000, that's about $9,932. Then Medicare, another 1.45%. That's $2,175. Add it all together, and your total tax bill reaches approximately $42,607. $42,607. From your original $150,000, you're left with about $107,393. You earned $150,000, but you only kept about 71% of it. Nearly 30% of your income never made it into your life. It never paid for your freedom, never bought back your time, never reduced your stress. And the psychological impact of this runs deeper than most people realize. Because even though you earn a high income, you still feel constrained. Large purchases feel heavy. Taking time off feels expensive. Walking away from a stressful job feels dangerous. Your lifestyle quietly expands to match what you actually receive, not what you earn. Which means your freedom isn't defined by your gross income. It's defined by what survives the structure around it. And this is where everything changes. Because when that exact same $150,000 is structured differently, the outcome isn't slightly better. It's dramatically better. If you're new here and just subscribed, comment your name below. I read every comment and shout out new subscribers in my next video. I do appreciate you joining me on this finance journey. Now fast forward. You're no longer waking up to an alarm, no longer trading hours for dollars, but your income is still the same. $150,000 per year. Except this time, it isn't coming from a job. It's coming from structure. Part of it comes from Social Security, about $45,000 per year. And surprisingly, not all of that is taxable. Depending on your overall income structure, only a portion of it is exposed to tax. Another $60,000 comes from long-term capital gains and qualified dividends. This is money generated by investments you've held for over a year. And the tax system treats this money differently, more gently, because it was built over time, not paid out as labor. Then the final $45,000 comes from Roth IRA withdrawals. And this is where the difference becomes almost hard to believe. Roth IRA withdrawals, when done correctly, are completely tax-free, not deferred, not reduced, zero. So now, your total income is still $150,000. Same number. Same lifestyle potential, but your tax bill looks completely different. Instead of $42,607, your total federal tax burden might be around $11,000. Not $42,000, $11,000. And there's no Social Security payroll tax, no Medicare payroll tax. Those only apply to earned income, not structured retirement income. Which means instead of $107,393, you keep about $139,000. Let that sink in. You just gained over $31,000 in annual spending power from the exact same gross income. You didn't work more. You didn't earn more. You didn't take more risk. You simply structured the income differently. And that difference changes everything about how your life feels. Because now, the money lasts longer. It stretches further. It supports you more efficiently. The same number that once felt tight now feels abundant. Not because the number changed, because the structure did. Once you see this, you stop obsessing over salary alone. Because you realize the goal was never just to earn income. The goal was to keep income. And more importantly, to control how that income would be treated in the future. Most people, without realizing it, build their entire financial life inside the most heavily taxed channel available. They rely almost entirely on W-2 income. They contribute inconsistently to retirement accounts. They ignore Roth accounts because the tax break isn't immediate. They never build taxable investment accounts that generate long-term capital gains treatment. They build income, but not income structure. So when retirement arrives, all their money sits in fully taxable accounts. Every dollar they withdraw gets taxed like earned income. The system takes its full share. But the informed person moves differently. They contribute to traditional retirement accounts for upfront tax deductions. They contribute to Roth accounts for future tax-free withdrawals. They build taxable brokerage accounts that generate capital gains instead of ordinary income. They create diversification, not just in investments, but in tax treatment. So decades later, when income is needed, they can choose where it comes from. Not by accident, by design. And that design is what turns the same $150,000 into two completely different lives. Imagine two people, same age, same lifestyle, same $150,000 annual income. Person A is still working. Every dollar they spend comes from fully taxed income. Person B is retired, drawing from structured, tax-optimized sources. Now their air conditioning system fails in the middle of summer. The replacement cost is $12,000. Person A has to earn far more than $12,000 to pay for it. Because their income is taxed at roughly 30% combined, they actually need to earn about $17,000 just to net the $12,000 required for the repair. $17,000 of effort to solve a $12,000 problem. Person B withdraws $12,000 from their Roth IRA. They net $12,000. Exactly. No additional tax. No extra burden. No inflation of effort. Same repair. Same lifestyle. Completely different cost. Or imagine helping your adult child with a home down payment. You want to give them $20,000. Person A has to generate nearly $28,000 in gross income to safely net that amount after taxes. Person B withdraws $20,000 from their structured accounts and delivers the full gift. No extra strain. No additional work required. Even something as simple as taking a vacation reveals the difference. A $15,000 trip might require person A to earn close to $21,000 pre-tax to afford it comfortably. Person B spends $15,000. Directly. Efficiently. This is the hidden multiplier effect of tax structure. Every dollar you keep becomes more powerful. Every expense becomes cheaper in terms of life energy required to fund it. And over time, that efficiency compounds into something much bigger than convenience. It compounds into freedom. What's remarkable is that the people who end up in this optimized position didn't do anything flashy. They didn't guess market crashes. They didn't chase exotic investments. They didn't rely on luck. They made boring, deliberate structural decisions for decades. They consistently contributed to Roth accounts, even when there was no immediate tax benefit. They funded traditional retirement accounts to create upfront deductions and long-term growth. They built taxable brokerage accounts alongside them, allowing future income to be taxed at lower capital gains rates instead of ordinary income rates. They built flexibility. Every year, these decisions seemed small, incremental, almost insignificant. But over 20, 30, 40 years, those small decisions compounded into massive tax arbitrage, the ability to legally control how and when income would be taxed. By the time retirement arrived, they didn't just have savings. They had options. They could pull from Roth accounts for tax-free income, pull from taxable accounts for favorable capital gains treatment, delay or optimize Social Security. They weren't forced into a single tax channel. They had built an income system, and that system quietly transformed identical income into dramatically different spending power. And this is where so many people unknowingly sabotage themselves. They spend 30 or 40 years saving diligently, building retirement balances, doing the hard part right. But then retirement arrives, and they withdraw money the only way they understand. They pull everything from their traditional retirement accounts, their 401k, their traditional IRA, account after account filled with fully taxable dollars. So their $150,000 retirement income gets treated almost exactly like job income. Fully exposed, fully taxed. Instead of paying around $11,000 in taxes, they might pay $30,000, $40,000, sometimes more. They accidentally rebuild the same tax burden they spent their entire working life under. Not because they had to, because they didn't structure alternatives. The optimized retiree does the opposite. They blend withdrawals strategically. $45,000 from Social Security, $60,000 from capital gains and dividends, $45,000 from Roth accounts. Each stream treated differently, each stream chosen deliberately. And just like that, they reduced their tax bill by over $30,000 per year. You just gave yourself an extra $30,000 to spend every year. Not by earning more, not by investing better, by withdrawing smarter. Now stretch this difference over a full retirement. 30 years. Same lifestyle. Same $150,000 annual income. The tax-ignorant approach might result in roughly $650,000 paid in total taxes over retirement. The structured, tax-diversified approach? Closer to $280,000. That's a difference of approximately $370,000. $370,000. That isn't just a number. That's years of financial security. The ability to help your children without hesitation. The freedom to handle medical expenses without fear. The difference between constantly watching your balance and simply living your life. This is what financial independence really is. It's not just having money. It's having control over how that money interacts with the system around you. Most people spend their entire lives as price takers. They earn income the default way. They accept whatever tax treatment comes with it. They react instead of design. But the informed person becomes a designer. They understand that the system has multiple channels, multiple pathways, multiple outcomes, all depending on structure. They don't fight the system. They work within it, strategically, because the real advantage was never about earning more. It was about keeping more. 20 years from now, you'll sit in a quieter moment. No alarms, no urgency, just stability. Your income will still arrive. Consistent, reliable, efficient, and you'll realize that the freedom you're experiencing didn't come from a single decision. It came from understanding something most people never do. That income structure determines income freedom. You'll look back at the moment you started thinking about this differently, and you'll be grateful you did. Because $150,000 was never just about how much you earned. It was about how much you kept. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next video.